Throughout history, humans have built monuments that defy logic, carved symbols no one can read, and left behind artifacts that shouldn't exist. From mysterious skeletons hidden in frozen lakes to massive stones moved without modern machines, archaeology is filled with questions that science still struggles to answer. In this series, we'll uncover 100 of the strangest archaeological mysteries ever discovered, each one more unbelievable than the last. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you see human history. High in the hills of southeastern Turkey lies one of the greatest mysteries of archaeology, Göbekli Tepe. First noticed in 1994 by a Kurdish shepherd and later excavated by archaeologist Klaus Schmidt, this site is now dated to around 12,000 years ago, far older than the pyramids or Stonehenge. What researchers uncovered were massive T-shaped pillars, some 16 feet tall and weighing up to 20 tons, arranged in circles that appear deliberately planned. The stones are covered with intricate carvings of lions, scorpions, vultures, snakes, and strange symbols we still cannot decode. Here's the puzzle. The builders of Göbekli Tepe were hunter-gatherers, people thought to have no farming, no writing, and only the simplest tools. Yet they organized labor, transported multi-ton stones, and designed a monumental complex that suggests both advanced skill and deep spiritual purpose. Even more baffling, around 8,000 BC, the entire site was deliberately buried under tons of earth, as if its creators wanted it hidden. Why would ancient people spend centuries building this enormous sanctuary, only to cover it up? Was Göbekli Tepe humanity's first temple, a forgotten spiritual center, or evidence of a lost civilization erased from history? Archaeologists debate endlessly, but one truth is clear. Göbekli Tepe forces us to rethink the origins of human society and to ask, how far back does civilization really go? High on the Bolivian Altiplano, near the ancient city of Tiahuanaco, lies one of archaeology's strangest enigmas, Puma Punku. At first glance, it looks like a pile of scattered ruins, but a closer look reveals something extraordinary. Giant stone blocks, some weighing more than 100 tons, cut with such precision that they fit together like machine parts. Many blocks have perfect right angles, smooth drill holes, and interlocking shapes that seem impossible for a civilization over 500 years old. The mystery deepens when you realize these stones were quarried miles away and somehow transported across rugged terrain without wheels, cranes, or iron tools. How did ancient builders achieve engineering feats we struggle to replicate even today? Mainstream archaeologists believe the Tiahuanaco culture used stone hammers, ropes, and sheer manpower. But skeptics argue the precision is too advanced, suggesting lost technology or something even more mysterious. Even the purpose of Puma Punku is unknown. Some think it was a grand temple platform. Others see it as part of a ceremonial gateway. Local legends claim the gods themselves built it in a single night. Whatever its origin, Puma Punku continues to defy explanation, standing as silent evidence that ancient people may have possessed knowledge long forgotten. Was this the work of brilliant engineers, or a remnant of something far older than history admits? The stones keep their secrets. Rising from the grassy plains of southern England, Stonehenge is one of the most iconic and enduring mysteries of the ancient world. Built over 400-500 years ago, this massive stone circle continues to puzzle archaeologists, engineers, and historians alike. Some of its giant sarsen stones weigh up to 25 tons, while the smaller blue stones were transported from quarries in Wales, nearly 150 miles away. But how did Neolithic builders move such massive blocks without wheels, cranes, or iron tools? Even today, experts struggle to replicate the feat with modern technology. Yet, Stonehenge is not just about engineering. Its layout is astronomically aligned, marking solstices and equinoxes with incredible accuracy. This suggests its builders understood the movements of the sun and moon far better than we once believed. But what was the purpose? Was it a sacred temple, a giant calendar, a royal burial ground, or a healing site drawing pilgrims from across ancient Britain? Despite decades of research, the answers remain elusive. Every year on the summer solstice, thousands gather at Stonehenge to witness the sunrise aligning perfectly with its central stones, just as it did thousands of years ago. Whatever its original purpose, Stonehenge remains more than a monument. It is a bridge between the past and the present, a timeless riddle carved in stone, reminding us how much of our ancient story is still untold. On the windswept coast of Brittany, France, lies one of the world's largest and least understood prehistoric sites, the Carnac stones. Stretching across miles of landscape, over 3,000 standing stones rise in mysterious rows, some towering nearly 20 feet high. Archaeologists date them to around 4,500 BC, making them older than both the pyramids of Egypt and Stonehenge. But the question that has haunted researchers for centuries is simple. Why were they built? Some theories suggest the stones were part of a vast astronomical observatory, aligned to track the sun, moon, and stars with remarkable precision. Others argue they served as sacred burial markers or territorial boundaries. Yet, none of these explanations fully account for the sheer scale and organization of Carnac. Imagine the manpower required to quarry, transport, and position thousands of massive stones without advanced tools. It suggests a highly organized culture capable of incredible feats. Local legends offer another layer of intrigue. One story claims the stones were once an army of Roman soldiers turned to rock by a powerful druid's curse. Another tale insists they mark an ancient battlefield frozen in time. Despite modern surveys and archaeological digs, the true meaning behind Carnac remains elusive. Were these stones messages to the gods, cosmic markers, or symbols of power long forgotten? Standing among them, you can't help but feel they hold secrets about a chapter of human history we've only begun to glimpse. Beneath the waters off the coast of Yonaguni Island in Japan lies one of the most controversial archaeological discoveries of the last century, the Yonaguni Monument. Discovered in 1986 by a local diver, the structure appears to be a massive complex of terraces, steps, and platforms carved directly into the seabed. Its sharp angles, straight walls, and stair-like formations look astonishingly artificial, almost like a sunken pyramid. But here's the mystery. Scientists can't agree whether it's a natural formation or the ruins of a lost civilization. Some geologists argue that natural tectonic activity fractured the sandstone into geometric shapes, creating the illusion of man-made architecture. But divers and alternative researchers point to features like precise right angles, road-like passages, and even what seem to be carvings of animals and symbols. If the site is man-made, it could date back more than 10 years, which would rewrite the history of civilization in Asia. Local legends add fuel to the debate. Stories speak of a vanished land called Mu, a mythical continent swallowed by the sea. Was Yonaguni its last remnant? Mainstream archaeology remains cautious, but the sheer scale and mystery of the monument keep divers and researchers fascinated. Is it simply nature's work of art beneath the waves, or the underwater ruins of a forgotten world? Until the debate is settled, the Yonaguni Monument will remain one of the ocean's most haunting enigmas. Off the coast of Pohnpei in Micronesia lies Nan Madol, often called the Venice of the Pacific. Built on a series of small artificial islands connected by canals, this mysterious city covers nearly 200 acres. What makes Nan Madol astonishing is the construction. Its walls are built from massive basalt logs, some weighing up to 50 tons, stacked like giant black pillars. No one knows how ancient builders transported such heavy stones across water without cranes, pulleys, or modern ships. Archaeologists date the site to around 10 years ago, linking it to the Sadalur dynasty. But local legends tell a different story of twin sorcerers who used magic to fly the stones into place. The sheer effort required suggests thousands of workers and an organized society. Yet no evidence of such a large population has ever been found on the island. Even stranger, the city seems impractical. No farmland, no fresh water, and difficult living conditions. Why would anyone build a massive stone city on the sea? Some believe Nan Madol was a ceremonial center, a royal fortress, or even a prison for the ruling elite. Others see it as a remnant of a much older, lost civilization. Whatever its origin, Nan Madol stands as one of the most mysterious architectural feats in the Pacific, its empty canals whispering of a forgotten chapter in human history. In the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon stands Baalbek, a site famous for its Roman temples, but beneath them lies a far older mystery. The foundations are made of colossal stone blocks known as the Trilithon. Each one measures over 60 feet long and weighs more than 800 tons, the largest stones ever used in construction. Even more puzzling, an unfinished block nearby weighs over 10 tons. How were such massive stones quarried, moved, and precisely placed thousands of years ago? Roman engineers were advanced, but many believe these foundations predate Rome itself. Some suggest an earlier civilization, long lost, laid the groundwork, and the Romans simply built on top of it. Ancient myths say Baalbek was the dwelling place of gods, or even a landing platform for celestial beings. Archaeologists dismiss these claims, but they cannot fully explain the techniques used to transport and position the stones with such accuracy. Was Baalbek merely a Roman temple complex, or does it preserve traces of an engineering knowledge far older than we realize? The sheer scale of its foundation blocks continues to defy explanation, leaving Baalbek as one of the greatest unsolved puzzles of ancient construction. Hidden beneath the streets of Paola, Malta, lies the Hypogeum of Ħal-Saflieni, a subterranean temple unlike anything else in the world. Discovered accidentally in 1902, this underground complex is carved entirely out of limestone, with chambers spanning 3 levels deep, dating back over 50 years. The Hypogeum may have been used as both a sanctuary and a necropolis. Inside, archaeologists uncovered the remains of more than 70 people, along with mysterious red ochre paintings and carvings. But the Hypogeum holds stranger secrets. One chamber, called the Oracle Room, has remarkable acoustic properties. A person speaking inside creates resonances that can be felt throughout the entire structure. Was this a deliberate design for rituals, chants, or altered states of consciousness? Even modern architects are baffled by the precision of the sound engineering. Adding to the mystery, unusual elongated skulls were reportedly found here, sparking theories of a unique ancient population or something even more unusual. Official accounts are vague, fueling speculation. Was the Hypogeum simply a temple and burial site, or a portal into mysteries we no longer understand? Its dark, silent chambers keep their secrets. Beneath the plains of Cappadocia in Turkey lies Derinkuyu, an astonishing underground city stretching 18 stories deep and capable of housing up to 20 people. Discovered in 1963, this vast labyrinth includes homes, stables, wells, ventilation shafts, and even schools, all carved directly into volcanic rock. Massive stone doors could seal passageways, suggesting the city was designed for protection. But who built Derinkuyu, and why? Some believe it was created by the Phrygians around 30 years ago, later expanded by early Christians seeking refuge. Yet the sheer scale suggests planning and engineering far beyond survival shelters. Ventilation shafts kept air flowing, and water channels ensured supply, even under siege. Local legends claim the tunnels were built to hide from invaders or from something far older, even non-human. The complexity of Derinkuyu remains hard to explain with ancient tools. Was it simply a refuge, or part of a vast network stretching beneath Cappadocia? Many other underground cities connect through hidden tunnels, hinting at a forgotten era when whole populations lived below the earth. Just outside modern-day Mexico City rises Teotihuacan, once one of the largest cities in the ancient world. At its height around 500 AD, it housed more than 100 people, with massive pyramids dominating the skyline, the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Temple of the feathered serpent. But the identity of its builders remains a mystery. The Aztecs, who arrived centuries later, found the city abandoned and named it the place where the gods were created. Archaeologists still don't know who originally built Teotihuacan, or why it suddenly collapsed around the 7th century. Beneath its pyramids, researchers have found tunnels filled with mercury, strange artifacts, and evidence of complex rituals. The city's layout is mathematically precise, aligned with celestial movements, suggesting advanced astronomical knowledge. Was Teotihuacan a powerful empire, a spiritual center, or something more enigmatic? The absence of written records leaves its story untold. Walking down the Avenue of the Dead today, you can feel the weight of a once great civilization whose secrets remain buried beneath its colossal stones. In the green fields of Ireland stands Newgrange, a massive passage tomb older than the pyramids of Egypt. Built around 3200 BC, it is over 50 years old, yet its design shows remarkable sophistication. From the outside, Newgrange looks like a giant mound of earth, but inside lies a stone passage that leads to a central chamber. The most astonishing feature? Every year on the winter solstice, sunlight shines through a narrow roof box, perfectly illuminating the inner chamber for just 17 minutes. This alignment shows the builders had advanced astronomical knowledge, carefully tracking the sun's movements. The interior is decorated with spiral carvings and mysterious symbols whose meaning is still debated. Was Newgrange simply a tomb, or a place of spiritual rebirth connected to the cycles of the sun? No written records remain of its builders, but its precision and symbolism hint at a culture deeply in tune with both the earth and the sky. To this day, thousands gather each winter solstice to watch the ancient light show, connecting us to a people whose knowledge and purpose remain shrouded in mystery. Near the shores of Lake Titicaca in Bolivia lies Tiahuanaco, an ancient city once considered the cradle of Andean civilization. Its most famous feature is the Gateway of the Sun, a massive stone arch carved from a single block of andesite, decorated with intricate figures and a central solar deity. But the site raises more questions than answers. Some archaeologists date Tiahuanaco to around 500 AD, but others argue parts of it may be far older. The precision of the stonework, the scale of the construction, and the astronomical alignments suggest a highly advanced culture. Legends of the Inca describe Tiahuanaco as the birthplace of humanity, created by the god Viracocha. Adding to the mystery, some ruins suggest the city once stood at a different altitude, hinting at geological upheaval. Was Tiahuanaco the capital of a powerful empire, or the last remnant of a much older lost civilization? Its stones remain silent, but their precision and symbolism continue to inspire wonder and fuel debate about how much of our past we have forgotten. On the remote island of Rapa Nui, thousands of miles from any continent, stand the Moai colossal stone statues carved between the 13th and 16th centuries. Each statue, some weighing over 80 tons, features enormous heads with solemn expressions, gazing inland. Archaeologists believe the Moai represented ancestral chiefs or important figures, embodying spiritual power known as mana. The mystery lies not only in their meaning but also in their movement. The quarries where the statues were carved are miles from their final locations. Without wheels or draft animals, how did the islanders transport these giants across rugged terrain? Local legends say the statues walked to their platforms through ritual and chanting, and experiments suggest they may indeed have been rocked upright using ropes. Yet, the construction of the Moai may have pushed the island's resources to collapse, leading to social upheaval. Still, their presence today continues to fascinate. Were they symbols of devotion, warnings to future generations, or messages we've yet to decode? The Moai remain one of humanity's most haunting achievements. In a granite quarry at Aswan, Egypt, lies a monument frozen in time, the unfinished obelisk. If completed, it would have stood nearly 140 feet tall and weighed over 10 tons, making it the largest known obelisk ever attempted. Carved directly from the bedrock, the project was suddenly abandoned when cracks appeared in the stone. This unfinished giant reveals incredible insights into ancient Egyptian engineering. Workers used dolerite pounding stones to chip away at the granite, creating narrow trenches to isolate the block. But here's the puzzle. How could such a massive obelisk have been lifted, transported, and erected upright without modern cranes? Even with today's technology, moving a 10-ton stone would be a monumental challenge. Some scholars believe the obelisk's failure shows the limits of Egyptian engineering, while others suggest it proves they had techniques we no longer understand. Was the obelisk simply too ambitious? Or does it hint at lost methods of construction? The abandoned monument remains a silent reminder of both human ambition and the mysteries of ancient technology. High in the sacred valley of Peru lies Ollantaytambo, an Inca fortress and ceremonial site that showcases some of the finest stonework in the ancient world. Massive terraces climb the mountainside, while enormous stone blocks form precise walls fitted so tightly that not even a blade of grass fits between them. Some of the largest blocks weigh over 50 tons, yet they were transported from a quarry across a river and up steep slopes. The precision of Ollantaytambo's construction is staggering. The terraces were designed for both defense and agriculture, showing a blend of practicality and spiritual significance. Archaeologists believe it served as a royal estate and stronghold, but legends tell of its construction by giants or even pre-Inca cultures with lost knowledge. How did the builders move such enormous stones without wheels or draft animals? And why does the site combine military strength with sacred symbolism? Standing at Ollantaytambo, surrounded by towering mountains, it's clear this was more than just a fortress. It was a place where the spiritual and the practical met, leaving us with questions about how much the Incas, and those before them, truly knew. On a hillside in West Java, Indonesia, lies Gunung Padang, a megalithic site that may rewrite history. Long thought to be a simple hilltop covered with scattered stone terraces, recent studies suggest something far deeper. Beneath the visible ruins are layers of man-made structures buried under volcanic soil. Some geologists claim the oldest layers could be over 20 years old, far older than any known pyramid. The surface terraces are built from volcanic andesite blocks, carefully arranged in patterns. Locals call the site the Mountain of Light and believe it has long been sacred. But if the deeper layers prove artificial, it could challenge our entire timeline of civilization. Mainstream archaeologists remain cautious, arguing the evidence is inconclusive. Still, ground-penetrating radar and drilling samples reveal anomalies that hint at chambers and walls hidden underground. Was Gunung Padang a ceremonial complex, a fortress, or the remains of an ancient advanced culture wiped out at the end of the Ice Age? Until deeper excavations reveal the truth, Gunung Padang stands as one of archaeology's most provocative mysteries, waiting to challenge everything we think we know about the past. In eastern China's Zhejiang province lie the Longyu Caves, an underground wonder that baffles experts. Discovered in 1992, these 24 massive chambers were carved entirely by hand into solid sandstone, covering over 300 square feet. The walls are perfectly smooth, featuring parallel chisel marks that look almost machine-made. Yet no historical records mention who built them, when, or why. Carbon dating suggests the caves are at least 20 years old, possibly older. But here's the mystery. Excavating such vast spaces would have required removing millions of cubic feet of rock. Where did all that material go? No debris has ever been found. Even more puzzling, the caves are structurally sound, with ceilings that haven't collapsed despite centuries underground. Some scholars suggest they were quarries later modified, while others think they were ceremonial chambers or hidden refuges. But the absence of artifacts or evidence leaves the mystery wide open. Were the Longyu Caves a triumph of forgotten engineering, or the remnants of a culture lost to history? Their silent halls offer no answers, only deeper questions. Beneath the turquoise waters of the Bahamas lies the Bimini Road, a mysterious underwater formation discovered in 1968. Stretching nearly half a mile, it consists of massive rectangular limestone blocks, arranged in what looks like a straight paved road or wall. Some blocks are over 12 feet long, fitting together with uncanny precision. Scientists debate whether the Bimini Road is a natural geological formation or evidence of an ancient man-made structure. Supporters of the Atlantis theory point to prophecies by Edgar Cayce, who predicted a lost city would rise near Bimini. Divers have reported additional structures nearby, fueling speculation of a sunken civilization. Geologists argue the blocks formed naturally through beach rock fracturing, later shaped by erosion. But skeptics note the organized layout and massive size seem too deliberate to be natural. If artificial, the structure could date back more than 10 years, long before known civilizations in the region. Was Bimini Road a harbor, a breakwater, or a remnant of Atlantis itself? The ocean keeps its secrets well hidden. In southeastern Africa lies Great Zimbabwe, the remains of a powerful city that thrived between the 11th and 15th centuries. Its most striking feature is the Great Enclosure, a massive stone wall over 30 feet high and 800 feet long, built without mortar. The stones fit so perfectly they have stood for centuries. Great Zimbabwe was once the heart of a wealthy trading empire, dealing in gold and ivory with merchants from as far as China and the Middle East. Yet early European explorers refused to believe Africans could have built such a complex site, inventing myths about foreign builders or even lost tribes of Israel. Modern archaeology has firmly proven it was created by the Shona people. But questions remain about its purpose. Was it a royal palace, a religious center, or both? The true function of its monumental walls and towers is still debated. Great Zimbabwe stands as a testament to African ingenuity and a reminder of how history has often underestimated entire civilizations. In the heart of Madhya Pradesh, India, stands Khajuraho, a group of temples built between the 9th and 11th centuries. Famous for their intricate carvings, these temples depict gods, dancers, animals, and daily life, but also detailed erotic sculptures that cover their walls. The artistry is so precise and expressive that the site is considered one of the finest achievements of Indian architecture. But why did the Chandela dynasty create such provocative imagery on sacred temples? Some believe the carvings reflect tantric traditions, where sexuality was viewed as a path to spiritual enlightenment. Others argue they symbolize the balance of worldly life and divine pursuit, reminding worshippers that one must transcend desire to reach higher states. The temples also demonstrate advanced engineering. Their sandstone blocks are joined without mortar, yet still stand strong after 1,000 years. Scholars debate the deeper meaning, but Khajuraho's carvings remain both beautiful and mysterious. Were they sacred lessons, artistic celebration, or messages hidden in stone? The answer may be all three, leaving Khajuraho as one of the world's most fascinating temple complexes. High in the sandstone cliffs of the American Southwest lie the dwellings of the ancestral Puebloans, often called the Anasazi. Between 1,200 and 1,300 AD, they carved entire villages into sheer canyon walls, multi-story homes, ceremonial kivas, and storage rooms, hidden in places only accessible by ladders. Mesa Verde and Chaco Canyon still stand as proof of their remarkable engineering, designed to survive in one of the harshest landscapes on Earth. But the true mystery is their disappearance. Around 1,300 AD, these once thriving communities were abandoned. Archaeologists suggest a prolonged drought, resource depletion, or conflict drove them away. Yet, oral traditions of the Hopi and Zuni tell of a spiritual migration guided by ancestral spirits, not collapse. Petroglyphs carved into the rocks hint at advanced celestial knowledge, aligning with solstices and lunar cycles. Did the Anasazi vanish due to climate catastrophe, warfare, or a deliberate choice to follow prophecy? Their story remains unfinished. Today, their silent cliff homes cling to canyon walls, watching centuries pass. leaving us to wonder why an entire civilization simply walked away from cities in the sky. In the jungles of Mexico, the Olmec civilization flourished more than 30 years ago. Their greatest enigma, 17 colossal stone heads, each carved from basalt boulders weighing up to 40 tons. These faces, with flat noses and helmet-like headgear, are all unique, likely portraits of rulers or warriors immortalized in stone. But the mystery deepens when you ask, how did the Olmecs move such giants? Some of the stones were dragged from quarries over 60 miles away, across rivers and swamps, without wheels or draft animals. The Olmecs left no written explanation, only fragments of symbols on pottery. Were these heads guardians of sacred sites, markers of power, or ceremonial monuments? Some theories even suggest they represent players of the ancient Mesoamerican ball game. Their sheer size and artistry show the Olmecs were far more advanced than once believed. They were the mother culture of Mesoamerica, yet much of their history remains hidden. The heads still stare silently across the landscape, daring us to uncover their true story, and reminding us that civilizations can leave behind monuments but not always answers. Long before Greece or Rome, the Cucuteni-Trypillia culture thrived across modern Ukraine, Moldova, and Romania. Between 4,800 and 3,000 BC, they built vast settlements with populations of up to 15, larger than Mesopotamia's earliest cities. They produced beautiful pottery, painted with spirals, animals, and mysterious symbols that some believe may be a proto-writing system. But the strangest mystery of all, every few generations, these people deliberately burned their entire settlements to the ground, then rebuilt new ones on top. Archaeologists have no clear explanation. Was it ritual purification, renewal of life cycles, or some unknown cultural tradition? Even more unusual, their cities lacked palaces, fortresses, or temples, suggesting a surprisingly egalitarian society. Yet, around 3000 BC, their culture vanished. Climate change, invasion, or internal decline may be to blame, but no one knows for sure. Their vast settlements and ritual fires mark them as one of Europe's most mysterious lost civilizations, a people whose secrets are locked in ash and earth. In southern Spain, ancient writers described a wealthy kingdom called Terraces, rich in gold, silver, and trade. Herodotus wrote of its legendary king Argantonio, who ruled for an astonishing 80 years. Archaeologists place Terraces around the Guadalquivir River during the 9th to 6th centuries BC, but the culture remains elusive. No definitive capital or written texts have ever been uncovered. Some believe Terraces was a Phoenician trading colony, while others call it the first great civilization of Western Europe. Greek myths even tied it to Atlantis, fueling centuries of speculation. Recent discoveries of rich hoards, unusual bronze artifacts, and temple remains suggest a powerful society with deep connections to the Mediterranean world. Yet around the 6th century BC, Terraces vanished. Was it destroyed by Carthage, absorbed by neighboring cultures, or swallowed by myth? The lack of clear evidence leaves Terraces hovering between history and legend, a golden kingdom remembered only in fragments, waiting for its true story to resurface. Discovered in a Russian peat bog in 1894, the Shigir idol is the world's oldest wooden sculpture. Standing originally over 17 feet tall, it was carved from larch around 600 years ago, the same age as Göbekli Tepe. Covered with zigzags, chevrons, and human-like faces, its carvings may represent myth, totems, or even an early form of writing. What makes it mysterious is the context. How did hunter-gatherers of the Ice Age produce such a complex symbolic work? Some researchers suggested encoded spiritual beliefs, warnings, or a creation story. Its geometric patterns echo motifs found in other prehistoric sites, hinting at shared traditions stretching across continents. Wood rarely survives from prehistory, so the idol's preservation is almost miraculous. But its meaning is lost. Was it a god, a guide, or a memory carved into wood? Standing tall over 10, 0 years before the pyramids. The Shigir idol reminds us that art, ritual, and abstract thought began far earlier than textbooks once claimed. Across the Balkans, archaeologists have unearthed small clay tablets and artifacts covered in strange symbols known as the Vinci script. Found in Serbia, Romania, and Bulgaria, these markings date back to around 5,500–4,000 BC, long before Mesopotamia's cuneiform. Some scholars argue they are decorative or symbolic, but others believe they may represent the world's first written language. The symbols include crosses, chevrons, and shapes that repeat in patterns too systematic to be random. Were they accounting records, religious messages, or magical signs? If they truly represent writing, then Europe, not Mesopotamia, would hold the title of inventing the first script. But the Vinci culture vanished around 3,500 BC, leaving no clear explanation. Without a Rosetta Stone, the symbols remain undeciphered. Were they the beginnings of written communication, or simply ritual marks? The Vinci script continues to challenge our assumptions about where and when human literacy began. In 1898, a small wooden artifact was discovered in a tomb at Saqqara, Egypt. Shaped like a bird with outstretched wings, it dates to around 200 BC. At first glance, it seems like a simple toy or model, but its design has sparked decades of debate. Unlike typical bird figurines, the Saqqara bird lacks legs and has an unusual vertical tail, resembling the rudder of an aircraft. Some researchers believe it was part of a ritual object or symbolic of the soul, but others speculate it shows knowledge of flight and aerodynamics long before modern science. Experiments with replicas suggest it could glide short distances if thrown. Did the ancient Egyptians experiment with flight, or is this simply coincidence? Without inscriptions or context, the Saqqara bird remains unexplained, whether toy, symbol, or prototype. It reminds us how even the smallest artifact can unsettle our understanding of the past. Scattered across Costa Rica's jungles and plains are hundreds of mysterious stone spheres, ranging from a few inches to over 8 feet in diameter. Some weigh more than 15 tons, carved with astonishing precision. Dating to around 500 AD, these spheres were crafted by the Dikis culture, but their exact purpose remains unknown. Many were found arranged in geometric patterns, lines, triangles, and clusters, suggesting ceremonial or astronomical significance. Others guarded the entrances of settlements. Their surfaces are perfectly smooth, even though no advanced tools were known to the Dikis. How were such massive stones shaped and moved through dense rainforest terrain? Spanish conquerors melted some down for gold, and later many were damaged by farming and treasure hunters. Today they stand as silent enigmas. Were they status symbols, territorial markers, or cosmic models of the universe? Whatever their purpose, the spheres remain icons of Costa Rica's ancient mystery, perfectly round puzzles that science has yet to solve. Did you know there are ancient mysteries that science still can't explain? Skeletons frozen in a Himalayan lake, massive stones in Peru cut with impossible precision, and an entire city built underground in Turkey. These are just a few of the 100 archaeological mysteries. Do you think we'll ever uncover the truth?